Hello, and thank you for joining us in our podcast called Growth Journey. This is the place where you will start your personal growth and development. I'm glad you're here. I'm your host, Cheryl Hart. Let me start off by asking you a question. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you a difficult math problems. Well, God knows how I love math. But it is really something that I want you to think about before we start our conversation or our lesson for today. So, so let me ask you this question first. I hope you're ready. So, get ready. So, let's say you are going somewhere, like going for a hike or a climb, and you got lost somehow, lost your track. So let's say you lost your track and you can't remember which direction you have to go. So what do you do? So what do you do if you are in that situation? If what do you normally do? Do you perhaps scream or yell asking for help? Or what tool do you use when you are lost somewhere? Do you use perhaps a map, a compass? Who uses compass nowadays? I don't know. But I knew Boy Scout, Girl Scout, Cub Scout, they are trained to use it, or even our military are also trained to use compass. So if this is you that you know how to use compass, more power to you, right? Like us, myself, I have no idea how to use compass. Do you recall maybe back in 1990s or early 2000s when we used to print out our direction through the website called MapQuest? Have you guys recall MapQuest before? So, we usually print out the direction from that website before we leave home and to go somewhere. Or if you do not have internet access, perhaps the option that we have is we ask someone for direction as to where to go, when we are lost. So let me take a pause for a minute here because in this scenario, guys or male, more than likely, they won't stop and ask for direction. Am I right, girls? So not all of them though, that not all of them asking question, but majority of them do not ask question. They will refuse to stop and ask. Why? Well, they are male and they have a big ego. Whether you like it or not, if you're a male, you have a big ego. They don't want to accept that they made mistakes sometimes and miss the turn. So for the wives who are driving with their husband and for some reason they got lost somewhere, and the wife will say, hey, maybe we should stop and ask for questions, and the husband will say, no, I think we're all good. We're just gonna keep driving. We're gonna keep going. I know where we're gonna go. But for a female, we have a big antenna, right? We have this gut feelings like, oh, this sounds right. This doesn't feel right. I know you were lost, so for that instance, we female have a big we have a intuition that we call, and we knew if we are lost, we have to stop somewhere and ask for that, right? So I have had that experience, actually two experiences that I have. So let me first start it off. The first one, when I had this type of experience when I was lost. And I do recall when I was at the party at that time, probably about few years ago, a couple of years ago, and I forgot my charger for my phone. How many of you forgot the charger in your phone sometimes, right? It was really late at night at that time, and I have to be home. I have to drive up probably about 45 minutes from where I was at, and my phone died. You know how it is, how you feel about that when your phone died and you know what to do. So what do I do? I recall when I was younger, my mom always stops at the gas station and asks for direction. So guess what I did? I did what my mom did. As when we were child, we see what they do, not what they say, right? So actions speak louder than words. So that sticks to me that what my mom did. So guess what I did in that situation where I'm at? I stopped and looked for a gas station. It was really late, probably about, I don't know, close to 12 a.m. So that's morning already, right? When I stopped and found a gas station. So this particular gas station, they are about to close the store. The good thing is I made it just in time. So I asked the store clerk to point me to the right direction to get to the nearest highway. And as long as I am going north, I can figure out the rest. So what he did was he grabbed a piece of paper and pen and draw a line to the paper and to where we at, pointed out where we at. And it's like he's drawing a map for me, right? So then he jot down where I am going, to where I'm gonna make a turn, like a left, and which street name it was. Then make a right and put in the street name on that one, and some key pointers that he advised me that I need to look out for when I'm making this turn. So as I'm listening to him, in my mind, I'm like, man, I was talking to myself, man, I will never, ever, by any chance, I won't have any charger on my car again. Or my phone has to be charged up before I leave home. It was truly a teachable moment for me. So when you did something that experienced from it, you evaluated it, and hoping that you would not repeat it again, right? So as he was talking to me, I get confused. So just being transparent here, if the guys doesn't stop, or majority of the guys doesn't stop for ask question, in my experience for me, I'm really not so good at following directions. Okay, I'm more a visual person. So what it means where when I need to see it, I need to familiarize myself where I was, or to visualize it where I was, and then I will remember. I'm not an auditory person where something that I listen to and then learn. I am more visual. I am more visual that way. So, but I was trying really hard, to listen to him and asking questions to make sure that I understand what he's saying. I feel bad because this poor guy or poor man, he is about to close his store, and I'm there. I am taking all this time. So I keep asking him questions and repeating it to make sure that I understand it correctly, and trying to repeat myself. And I think he figured it out. I think he figured out that I didn't get it. I know that it's pretty bad. So then he said, "You know what? I am going that way anyway. So what if you just follow me, and I will wave at you when it is your exit or your turn, and then you can make a turn from that point and go into the highway." I was like, "Oh, that's really a good idea. Yeah, if you can do that for me, that'll be great." Then he said, "Okay, just wait for me outside, and I'll be closing my store in about 5 minutes, okay?" So I said, "Okay, I'll wait for you outside." So I waited about 5 minutes, and he's closing his store. And then, sure enough, I followed him in his car, and probably about 2 to 3 miles away. And he then waved at me and said, "Hey," and then he pointed out, because I can't talk to him, he's in front of me. So he's like, he waved at me and then pointed out which direction I should go to take my exit to go to the highway. So I tell you what, it was a quiet experience for me. I'm just thankful for that man showing me the way, and I did figure out the rest. And I was relieved by then, the feeling of that, and very thankful, to a very kind man who actually willingly to show me the way. I could have called home via payphone, but I didn't. So I'm glad all worked out either way. So if you are in that situation, what would you do? So think about that. If you are in that situation, what would you do? So that's my experience on stopping through a gas station to ask for questions. That's a biggest one for me, and a very good learning experience. So another scenario that I said I have two. So another scenario that I have is, this is the most recent one. It's probably a few weeks ago when with my family, because we try to do family outings every year. We're trying to do it every year with cousins and friends to go somewhere and spend time together. So this year we decided to do glamping. So it's spelled as GLAMPING, glamping. I don't know if you have heard this word before. If not, well, you are in luck. So you hear it from me first. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm the first one that you hear the glamping a word. So instead of doing camping where you have to put the tent out and sleep on it for the night or two or three, we decided to rent a cabin instead in a state of Missouri area where we have kitchen, we have bathrooms and we can take showers and beds, so comfortable beds. So it's pretty much like a small house that you're renting out. So it's a cabin. That's we call glamping. Where we are out in our. It's not really a hotel, but it's a good feeling of outdoorsy kind of stuff. So it was really nice area where we at. There are horses around where the kids can ride and pet them, and it has a Western style and feel to it on the surrounding area. They have creeks where the kids loves to go out for swimming, to do that in their surrounding as well, and to play. They are very close to the state parks, which is what we like, and a great locations if you want to go in a river. So we did that too. We did a lazy river at one point for 3 hours. It was so nice, just laying out in your floating, I call it the floating, not a boat, but a floating device, and then we just laying out there and just going to the flow, going to the river. It was really good. It's probably about 5 miles or 6 miles, something like that, but it's really good. There's so many things that we do outside. The location is really nice, and it's quite interesting, and it's really good for the kids too. So with all these great things that we can do, the thing that is missing, guess what? The thing that is missing in this area is there is no internet access. I know, you're probably freaking out. Oh my God, there's no internet. I'm gonna miss all the things about in Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and Snapchat, all this social media, or maybe the CNN or BBC news media, anything, or your favorite episode in Netflix or Amazon, so whatever you guys choose to to watch for, and not only that, we do not have access to internet, and also we do not have access to our phones. We can't even make a phone call. What if something happened, right? We cannot make any phone calls at all. It's not working. There's one specific area, the lounge area, where there is a Wi-Fi, so you have to walk there. It's pretty close by us, a few yards away. We can walk and then use the internet, no problem. It's just that one specific location, but there's no access in our room, in a cabin or whatnot. And even when we're driving off and going to the store, it's not even working. I think the civilization that I call, the closest was probably 45 minutes to an hour. So you have to drive 45 minutes to an hour to get access to this technology. So it was really, really a good experience. It was really great place to really disconnect yourself to technology. So it's like the good old days, when we do not have internet and mobile phones. So if you want to experience something like this, or without access to Wi-Fi, or will prevent you to access to any of the technologies for at least a few days, so you can decompress, go look for this type of location. I think it's really good, especially with the kids, so they can experience more life outside than what we have going on every day, right? So you will have that great experience, especially with them sharing this experience with you. So that's why I'm sharing it with you now. So to our surprise, the kids, we're worried about our kids. The kids actually did great. They played tag. No one really asking, hey, can I watch TV? No, we just tell them, hey, we don't have access, we don't have TV, we don't have internet, we can't even make a phone call. So guess what, guys? Go find a stick. Go outside, go find a stick, pet some horses. There's no dog, but but it was really good. So what they did is it's a lot of, the good thing is we have a lot of kids, so they could play around each other. Even some neighbors that we didn't even know, it was he was there, so you just mingle himself. He just migrated himself, with the kids. So they have a few friends in there too. So they play tag, play hide and seek, the night and day, and going to the creek, swimming in the creek, playing rocks and throwing rocks in the creek all day long. In fact, myself and the kids have learned how to play ping pong and pool. So because they have a ping pong table and the pool table in that lounge, so every time we wanted to get access to Wi-Fi, we go there and then we play ping pong. It was quite nice. So here's the situation that we are not prepared for. So all of these great things decompress, no access to internet and all, not making phone calls. But there's missing pieces in the situation that we are not prepared for. So the very next day, we are heading to one of the state park. Okay, so we were following each cars, probably 5 cars, cousins, we were following each other, but unfortunately one just took off. Who knows the way? So he took off and he just left us behind, and we were wondering, okay, where are we gonna go? We don't even know the name of the state park. That's the mistake, right? You gotta know what the name of the state park is. Again, you do not have any internet to call or to search, to Google search all of this stuff. So we don't know this state park name. We don't even know how to get there, how many miles to get there, which way to turn. It's a nice scenic view. Have mountains and I call it farm and everything. Mountains. We go in uphill, high hills. It's really nice drive, but we don't know where we're going. So what happened is, the good thing of us is, one of us remembered the road. So this guy already, one of our cousins know already the way, because he not really know the way, but he been there. He was with the guys before, and he remember where to go. Okay, so but then it took us like probably 3 times to drive 3 times back and forth, and figure out which is the right direction. So before we finally figured out, and luckily we made it to that destination. So that's the moral story of there, that we that's how I realized it, that at the very beginning, that we rely so much in the internet access in our mobile phones, and the GPS built into our cars. Even our cars, for some reason it didn't work out, to get to where we wanted to go. We just hop in the car and go someplace, right? And in this case, we don't even know the name of the state park. We don't know the direction. We don't have any access. We just, rely on the memory of one person who have been to that, who went to that directions already, or who's familiar with that direction. So that's the moral of the story in there, that you gotta prepare. You gotta prepare no matter what. Don't relying on the technology that we have, because you just never know what's gonna happen, right? So with these 2 scenarios that I gave it to you, and that I have experienced, let me ask you this. What would you do differently, right? Knowing what you know now, or perhaps you don't know before, right? What would you do differently? Okay? Do you stop at the gas station like what I did, or any store, and ask for direction? Or would you print out a map before you leave home to make sure you get from point A to point B? Of course, you gotta know the name of the state park too, right? How good are you in using compass? Is that really worth it, using compass? I don't know. I might probably use it once, but that's about it. How good are you reading a map? Do you have a map in your car for just in case, right? So in our generation today, we rely so much with GPS, GPS stands for Global Positioning System, a navigator to help us just to get to where we wanted to be. So I thought, how about in our life? Do you have a GPS built in to help you navigate to a tough situation? Problems that you need solving, or perhaps you got lost or feeling you are lost in life. What tools do you have to help you navigate you back to the right road, if somehow you make a wrong turn, right? So Michael Hyatt have said that we all get off track. We all get off track. What is your plan to get back on the road? So I may also add that we are free to make choices in our life. Our life is made out of the choices that we have made from previous years and or even today. This is why we've got to where we are today because of those choices. We are also free to choose in which direction we would like to take, and every turn is a choice. So this is what we call a human as a human beings, we have a free will, right? Free will, that's what we call it. Yes, it is free to make a choice, but the consequences of those choices that we made are not. So I will borrow Michael Hyatt teaching about the life plan. So Michael Hyatt is a really good speaker, motivation speaker, and he's teaching about personal growth as well, and many more. So check him out in a website. If you Google his name, Michael Hyatt, you'll see a lot of his teaching there too. So we're gonna borrow his teaching about life plan. Okay, so a life plan is like your blueprint of your roadmap. So it is your guide when you think you are off track, because you will. It is not an if, it is about when you are off track, because all our lives is not always straight line, right? It's always a zigzag lane, or you always bumps in the road, a uphill, high hill. It's not really a winding road sometimes, so it's not always straight line, right? So you need to go back to this blueprint of or your life plan to see if you are on track. Okay, so that's what we're gonna learn today about the GPS of your life in the blueprint. What if you are off track? You have something to fall back on. Okay, so that's what we're gonna start off today. So feel free to get a pen or paper, a journal, if you will, if you want to write this down, some of the teaching lessons that we're gonna talk about today, right? So I like simple things. That's why simple teaching. That's why I pick Michael Hyatt and life plan that he was teaching, recently. So again, like simple things, and I will reference him, Michael Hyatt's simple approach into this. So he shared three things that we can do to create a life plan. So here they are. Okay, write it down. So number one is outcome. The outcome. Number two is priorities. Number three is action plan. Okay, so we're gonna focus on these three things throughout this episode. All right. So the first one, so let's start with the first one. First one is the outcome. All right. So one of the best-selling authors, Stephen Covey, have written a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, and he said, "Begin with the end in mind." Begin with the end in mind. Similarly, Michael Hyatt also wrote a book called What Will They Say When You Are Dead? What will they say when you are dead? Not too long ago, I have a conversation like this with a very good friend of mine. He's a college football coach and have done a phenomenal job on coaching and mentoring young athletes to help them to be on the best, become the best as they can be, and as a result, they become at the top of their game. So in our conversation, I said, "You have done a great job, and what a great way to serve and help others to be the best as they can be. So let me ask you this question. What would you like people to remember you by when you are gone? What do you think they will say about you?" Okay? So he then said, "I would like to be remembered by as a man that had helped them to become a better person and help them to reach their full potential and goals." As a college coach or as a college football coach, I'm pretty sure his students already know this and that they appreciate him very much to be able to reach their full potential and goals, because a lot of his students already reaching those goals. So way to go, coach. You're already doing a good job. So that's what he wants to be remembered by. So I have asked myself as well the same questions, and I know my family and friends who are close to me, who knows me well, that I'm always the light of the party, right? They know when they are around me, they are going to have fun or a great time. At least I try, you know. I like people having a great time every day if possible. And I want them to feel good about themselves. Share many laughs, you know, some silly things that we say, and some fun things that we do together, and build memories along the way. As I go through my own personal growth and development, like you, I would like to make an impact into people's lives, even you, even in small ways. I hope they will remember me or my teachings and lessons learned and all the experiences that I've shared with you so far, that hopefully, I have contributed in some ways into your lives, into their lives to help better themselves, even in small ways. That's what I wanted them to remember me by. That your life matters, that I truly believe that you do matters. So hopefully that all these teaching lessons that we share together have made an impact to you. So that's what the podcast is called. This is my goal. This is my purpose. This is what intended of this podcast is to make an impact to the lives of others, one person at a time, even in small things, in small ways. At least you get some improvement in your lives, okay? So I hope that's how you remember me by. So, what about you? What do you think people will say about you when you are gone? What would they remember you by? Start thinking about this and writing it down in your personal journal, and share them to the people who you are close to, or close to you, that you trust and love. Okay? So that's your outcome. Your outcome is, what will they say when you are dead? What they will remember you by. Okay? So the second one is priorities. It has been said that prioritize your life similar to a life account. Author Daniel Harkavy have said life is like a collection of bank accounts. Each has a certain value. A few have giant balances, a few others might have respectable balances, and a few might be overdrawn. So a good example on this that I can see is, say you are a professional in your career. You are doing great in your career right now, and you have reached the highest rank or position in your career. However, your health or family relationship is suffering, which means your career has a great balance account, but your health and family relationship are in respectable balances, or worse, they are overdrawn. So you may want to review your priorities, especially when it comes to your health. So how can you enjoy, how can you enjoy all these great things if you are sick, or and if you do not have someone to share it with you or build memories with? Okay? So if our in our previous episode titled Prioritize Your Life, Not Just Your Time, we have discussed this in a great details on how to set your priorities. So feel free to go back into that episode and re-listen to it again. Or if you missed it, go ahead and check it out. So the episode called is Prioritize Your Life, Not Just Your Time. So make a list of your priorities. Make it what is the most important to you. Okay? You're gonna write it down on the top. Is it your health? Is it your importance right now? Is your health to improve your health? Is it your finances? You want to be more financially stable and financially independent. Is it your career? You want to go in the ranks. You want to get promotion. You want to go work somewhere else that have a potential growth for you. That you have a good growth environment that you can grow. Or is it your a family relationship? Maybe you have, not disagreement with someone, with your family, your spouse, your partners, and things like that. Or maybe you need to spend more time with your friends because probably you're not paying attention to them, or, you just disconnect you with them. So think about that. Or maybe you are in a ministry or a volunteering in a community. Maybe you somehow didn't do those anymore. So maybe you want to go back and volunteer more or go to the ministry, right? So make a list of all these things and check to see if it is a positive or an overdrawn account. If it is overdrawn, then plan out how you will make it in a balanced lease or in a positive way. All right. So that's number two, prioritize. Make it priorities. Which is will lead us to the third one, which is the action plan. You had to get, you had to do, you had to have an action plan because execution is the key. Why? Because when you start thinking about your outcome, which is what we discussed the first one, the outcome, and outlining and writing down your priorities, which is the number two, no matter how good your thought process is or your handwriting, because you're writing down your priorities, and I don't care if your handwriting is great, which is good. My handwriting is not so good, I think. But if you make those priorities, it doesn't matter, right? This thing will not move. This thing will not move, and you will not get the result that you want. Only through actions and execution of your plan will get you the results. So you gotta take actions. So take action by make a commitment. That is, it is what you got, what you're going to do. So make a commitment. This is what you're going to do, and outline what you are going to do in the next few weeks, in the next 3 months, next 6 months, and so on. Also, if I were you, I will find out an accountability partner, which is someone that you trust, and you share them what you would like to do in the next few weeks, next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or a year from now, right? So they will hold you accountable for that. You say you're gonna, you have a weekly review with them however you want, but they will hold you accountable. They say, hey, you say you write it down here, you say you're gonna do this, you're gonna improve your health, or you're gonna improve your pay off your debt. Where are you at right now, right? So they're gonna hold you accountable for that. So make sure you find an accountability partner, either your spouse, your friends, coworker, or whoever close to you. Make sure that they are holding you accountable for that. Okay, commitment and consistency are your best friends. So you gotta be consistent about it, not just committing it, consistently. Okay, and progress is key. Progress is key. Everything is a work in progress. You can review and see how you are doing and make adjustment and improvement along the way. It's not gonna be perfect. Nothing is perfect, but you gotta start somewhere and make a progress from then on. So let me illustrate this in terms of our GPS or the navigator, all right? Since we started that way, let's illustrate it in terms of GPS or the navigator. So the outcome is, where are you going, or where are you heading to, your destination, right? You have a destination in mind, that's where we're gonna go, but the next one is the priorities, which is when you have a GPS, you take the first turn, right? So remember how you have a GPS in your mobile phone or you're in your car. They give you steps, right? They give you the first turn, or the left, you're gonna make a turn left here or turn right here, and in which street you're gonna go to, and all of the steps are in order. You cannot skip the steps, otherwise you will get lost and your GPS will reroute you. Okay, it is okay if there is no other ways and you must improvise sometimes, but make sure that you always go back on the track. Always go back. Priorities. Go back again if you get lost. Okay, and the last one is to take action. Start driving. You will not going anywhere if you just stare at your navigator. You're not going anywhere. You're not gonna move. You will not be able to reach your destination or your outcome if you don't drive. You gotta start driving. You may miss your exit, or you have to make a U-turn sometimes and get off track, but you can always reroute yourself and go back. Make adjustment along the way, but your focus is your outcome. So my final thought on this lesson is to have fun doing it, enjoy the process, It is not about arriving in your destination or the outcome. Rather, enjoy the journey and the process itself, because more than likely you will learn a few things or more, and you will learn more by being in the moment of the process. Okay, you're gonna have a mixed emotion there. Sometimes when you get lost, oh my God, you're worried, all these emotions that you go through, you're worried, what's gonna happen to me? There's no internet access, you cannot make a phone call, but you just have to calm yourself down. You just have, okay, everything's gonna work out. Everything's gonna work out. Just keep telling yourself that. We gotta have a positive energy, right? Go back to the positive energy that we learned last week. Just do that. You gotta bring out the positive energy, and you will get there. You will get there. All right. So the more importantly on this lesson is, it is not about the destination. It is about who you have become throughout this process. So I hope this lesson had helped you in some ways. And again, in closing, just a few reminders for you is, if this is your first time listeners, this is, and I thank you for tuning in. If you are the first time listeners in our growth journey, you are tuning in because perhaps someone referred to you to our podcast, or you found out in a website, or in searching for something new that you wanted to listen to, you stumble upon our podcast. Whatever the reason might be, I thank you for tuning in. And I knew you tuning in because you have a potential to grow, but you just don't know where to begin and where to start and who can help you to get there. And I'm glad you are here and made that decision. It's a free will to make a decision, so thank you for that. Feel free to subscribe so you will get notification and keep you up to date to the new episode that is releases every Sundays. And you can listen it to it anytime you want, anywhere you want, and that's the beauty about podcasts. Also, if you think that this podcast had helped you in some ways, had inspired you in some ways, and given you courage, please share this podcast to anyone. To anyone you know, either your friends, family, colleagues, your neighbor, people you just met somewhere, or whoever. Feel free to share this podcast so they too can learn for all the lessons that we are learning here. And no matter how old or experienced or young they are, everyone needs to grow, and there are plenty of room to grow and improvement. Practice on having abundance mindset and beginner's mindset, right? So there are so much to learn and experience in our life, in our world. So you just have to be open up for that. So when you do share our podcast to someone, well, guess what? You too are making a difference to their lives. Our goal of this podcast is to make an impact and make a difference to the lives of others. That's what I want it to be remembered from. In one person at a time, or one community at a time, and one nation at a time. So the last piece that I would like to mention here is, if you would like to start investing in your own personal growth and take this complimentary podcast episode to the next level and help you to become more and be more and take that next step forward and join my membership program. As a trainer, coach, and mentor, I am now opening up the opportunity for you all to join my membership club. All our deeper dive teaching on the 15 valuable laws of growth. Today matters, deeper dive on connecting. So if you want to be a better connector, I can help you with that. Also, and become a better leader to you and to your community, to your workplace, to ministry, or whoever. I can help you with that as well. To become a better salesperson, so you can sell anything and everything you want. And more importantly, to expand your personal growth and development. And this is for you. In our premium membership subscription, we will provide many tools and resources available to you to equip you and to help you teach or reach your full potential. I will share many resources and tools there that is only available to my premium membership and many bonuses offerings. To learn more, you can visit our podcast website at www.cherylhart.padbean.com. To sign up, you have to go to this website. Our premium memberships are not available in iTunes or Google Play. You have to go to www.cherylhart.padbean.com to sign up and to get more details. and you can select either bi-weekly, monthly, or yearly premium subscriptions. This information are also listed via text box for your reference, so if you click this episode and then there's a bunch of text in there, you can see it there as well. So if you are truly want to invest in your own personal growth and would like to improve as to where you are today and where you want it to be, your destination and the outcome, join us, and I look forward to see you there. You can also reach me via email address at share@shareiheart.com, or follow me in Instagram or LinkedIn, so that we can connect it that way as well. So with that, always remember, if you don't invest in your own personal growth, no one will. Take care and be well.